evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. I can't even speak. Another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you doing this evening? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. You know, it's been a crazy day today, so I'm gonna get on the horn, start talking. Hopefully, people will tune in. I'll see them and we will start talking. We have a great show. While people are starting to come in, maybe I should play a song or two. Uh, Maybe should I play my theme song early? I don't know. What can I play? Oh, this song right here. Oh, hold on. Man, there's a song that I downloaded the other day, and no, I can't play that one. parental discretion advised. But there's a song that I found the other day by this dude, man. I love it. Maybe I can play it next week. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's go to Instagram and make it live as well as we start the show. People can come in slowly but surely. Welcome, 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 welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So, anyways, as we start our show, I just want to tell everybody welcome to the show. I hope you're having a great week so far. Mine's going all right. I mean, who wants to hear about the bad that you're going through? Nobody wants to hear that. I have a great show planned for you tonight. You know, as people start to tune in, we will get it on the road. So while we're doing that, let's get our theme song started. And in case people tune in, they can hear the theme song kicking. So let's get it tuned up for you. Let's see, theme song. Get it ready. And we can start the show. All right. Here we go. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence.
Dominica made me, that's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be.
Boston raised me. Oh, man.
Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this
Down, I found my way.
town, I found my way. I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me, Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me. Here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From Dominica's beauty to Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. If you're from the 767 YT Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, you call me little boy. If you know the real name about that village of Point Michelle, St. Luke's Parish, you might call me Luke Boy. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. Hope you guys are doing well. I mean, for some reason, my right eye is feeling a little swollen. I know if it's allergies or whatever it might be in there. I'm just trying to get it in. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the show tonight. I know some people got a lot. It's Cinco de Mayo. I'm actually going to send this to my best friend. Today is his birthday. I know he's not going to tune in. He's probably somewhere. Let me get it out so I can give him a shout out. Let's see. I want to give him a little shout out, and I will see if he will tune in so we can acknowledge him. Let's see, Adrian D. Champs. Yeah. I'm saying to him, I'm saying, I'm gonna give you a shout out on your birthday. All right. So today is the 5th of May. A lot of people are out and about celebrating Cinco de Mayo, doing what they do. That's what they do. And, for some reason, why is this thing's frozen? Oh, there it is. It's working now. It's working now. It looks like it's frozen. But anyways, it's Cinco de Mayo. A lot of people are out and about, but the show must go on. What I do is my show, no matter what's going on. And let me make a comment here. Let me say welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. If you don't make a comment, I can't shout you out. Let's call it, let's see what's going on with the comments. There we go. Yeah, there it is. We can get it in there. People can see it. Welcome everyone. For those of you who are watching, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week so far. It's Tuesday. Looking at May 5th, Tuesday, May 5th. For some reason, I kept thinking today was the 4th. Well, that was yesterday. And now today's the 5th. And I have a great show planned for you tonight. If you look at, what's scrolling on the ticker at the bottom of the banner, it says, why are you still saving your money in a traditional bank? That's going to be our topic tonight. So anyways, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Let me turn this off right here. I'm so excited. I appreciate it, bro. My best friend said, I appreciate it, bro. I'm going to say tune in to listen, and then you can get off. Let me tell him. Tune in to listen. Tune in now to listen, then log off. Anyways, like I said, I do want to give a shout out to my bestie, Mr. Adrian D. Champs. He is celebrating his birthday today on Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. Today is my cousin's birthday as well, who passed a couple of weeks ago. The funeral is in a couple of weeks, so I'll be going up there to Boston for the funeral. But Mr. Adrian D. Champs, Alabama A&M, Sumter, South Carolina. Well, I just want to say to you, happy birthday, bro. Hope you have a good birthday. Come what may, I'm supposed to be at a meeting tonight at my church, but hey, Tuesdays with Terrence comes before everything. Comes before my birthday, anniversary, Sandy's birthday, kid's birthday, everybody's birthday. So Tuesdays with Terrence is what I do every week. I've been doing it I'm going into my, what? 7 years? I'm going into my 7th year now. I started in 2020. So I've already done 6 years. So basically, I'm going to take my time, go over it tonight. Whoever tunes in, tunes in. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's take a look at markets, see how markets are doing. Um, the markets were, let's see how markets did today. See how markets. Ooh, okay. Hmm. The Dow was up 356.35. The Nasdaq, which is tech stocks, was up 258.32, and the S&P was up 58.47. Um, let's see what's going on here. 46 minutes ago. Um, wow. Okay. Okay, well, for some people, you made some a little money today in your 401ks. The Dow closed at 49,298.25. The S&P, the Nasdaq, a record. The Dow rises. So the S&P and the Nasdaq is now a record. All right, it hit the record today. You know, and that's a good thing. If you're in tech stocks, you have actually made some money today. And again, I just want to say another quick shout out. Today's the 5th of May. Adrian Dechamps, my best friend, like my little brother. I can tell him anything. I don't tell him everything. He's the one person I can tell anything and everything besides, God, and besides the missus, so I can do that to him, but I won't tell him everything, but he is celebrating his birthday today. So Adrian Kappa, peace. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. My bestie, my bestie. I want to say good evening to Martha Hillier and everybody else who's watching. Welcome to the show. Again, the show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. I do it every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you need to hit that subscribe button. So if you hit subscribe button, it'll just automatically remind you on your phone, when the show's on, and you can just log on or log in. And as we tune it in today, I've already played my theme song. I'm so excited. I'm trying to see who else is watching tonight. I just want people to understand that we're taking it one day at a time, sweet Jesus, one day at a time. So everybody who's watching the show tonight, welcome, 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 welcome. I hope you're having a great day, good spring. Like I said, my right eye feels swollen right here. I don't know if it's allergies or whatever it may be. I don't know. I hope I'm not getting sick with anything, because I need my eyes to see. People always ask you, if you had a choice to go dumb, deaf, or blind, which one would you want to be? Everybody always want to see. Sandy Bardui is watching. I can see it popped up on my phone. Welcome. Oh, Elizabeth Bardui as well. Good evening. How are you, darling? And everybody else is watching. Welcome to all of you guys. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. I know you could be somewhere else. Good evening, Peach Goodwill. Welcome, welcome. And everybody else who's watching, welcome, welcome. If you don't put a comment, I can't shout you out. But if it pops up that you're watching, I give you a shout out. And I usually do that. And the reason why I do that, folks, I have said it over and over. I don't take this for granted. If some of you may think that I do, I don't. I don't take Tuesdays for Terrence for granted. I'm very grateful to those of you who watch it. It's Cinco de Mayo. Some of you all should be somewhere having a margarita, or maybe you're having a margarita at your home or somewhere doing something. Um, I'm having a margarita right now. This is my margarita, my bottle of water. Let me take a sip of my margarita. That's a sip, a toast. Adrian Dechamps, my best friend. Happy birthday, Mr. Adrian. God bless you. That's my margarita, bro. Having a sip on your birthday. So otherwise, how's everybody doing, man? I have a great show tonight, and I hope you listen attentively. Get your pen and your pad and your paper, or text it to yourself so you can understand what I'm going to talk about. Today, I'm going to give you two scenarios that happened yesterday with two of my clients. You all don't know who it is, so nobody knows. Even if my clients are watching, they may know it's them, but nobody will know who it's them. But this is what happened as we start the show. All right. So one of the big things that I do is I teach people how to become a bank. Right. I teach you how to become a bank through an infinite banking concept. It's a concept. It's not an actual brick and mortar building like Bank of America or Wells Fargo or JP Morgan Chase or Capital One or Citizens Bank or excuse me, wherever it is that you bank. I'm not talking about those banks. All right. Truist and all those banks. Okay. Everybody who has a job or who has retired and gets Social Security gets a direct deposit. All right. They get a direct deposit and it goes into your bank account. It does. So I don't have a problem with that because you need a depository, a place to put it in. Right. I don't have a problem with you having credit union, a savings bank, if they still have savings banks, or a commercial bank, or whatever. I don't have a problem with that because you got to pay your bills, you got to get your check. Because who gets a personal check? I've told you this story. I'll tell you this story again real quickly. Back in the day in Boston, I remember I was a teenager and my mother was getting her Social Security check. Every was I a teenager? Yeah, I think I was. No, I was probably, let me see. When I was 13, she was 53. Nah. Older. Nah, I was old. I was in my 20s, whatever. And my mother, basically, she used to get a physical check. And there are some people who still gets a physical check for work. Who does that? But anyways, my mother, we're telling her about direct deposit. You know how old people, older people, I should say, because now I'm that age now, that, they're accustomed to a certain way of doing things. Going to the bank, cashing their check, getting their money, doing what they have to do, get some money orders to pay the gas bill and the light bill and the water bill and the this bill and the that bill and the cable bill. And that's what people used to do. So my mother, one time she didn't get a Social Security check. So she's like, man, the time has come and passed, 2 weeks gone. So she called Social Security, well, however long it was. And they said, man, we mailed you that check. And that check was cashed in Lawrence, Massachusetts. So my mother on the phone, she goes, Lawrence, Massachusetts. She says in Creole, patois, ma même connaît qui la Lawrence, I don't even know where Lawrence is. She didn't know where Lawrence, Massachusetts was, right? And Lawrence, Massachusetts is the northern part of the state going towards New Hampshire. And basically what happened was her check was stolen out of the mailbox and somebody cashed it. I don't know if they had a legal ID or whatever they do. Back in the day, now it's probably harder to do that kind of stuff. But back in the day, it was cashed. So anyways, to make a long story short, she, I don't know if it was my sister or my dad or somebody took her to the Social Security office and she started getting direct deposits in her bank. Boston 5-cent savings bank. I think it becomes Citizens Bank now. And that's where her money was going every month. And guess what? After that, she never had an issue of not getting her check. So a bank is okay. Let me tell you what a bank is good for. You ready? For a checking account, a mortgage, banks or credit union, checking accounts, mortgage, personal loan, car loans, equity line of credit, student loans, business loans. And they're good for a couple other things as well, but that's what they're ready for. And don't let any banker fool you to make you think that your money should be in their bank. Because if you go to your bank and you ask them, which account do you have your money in at your bank? It's kind of me promoting something and I don't have it myself. The bank don't keep their money in their bank, in that bank. Bank of Boston ain't keeping their money. No, sorry, Bank of America is not keeping their money in Bank of America. They're not doing that at all. So what I'm saying to you is that if they're not doing that, what do they do with their monies? There's something called fractional reserve, right? So basically, banks, when you put your money in, you put in $10,000 today, right? Whether it's in a savings account, checking account, or a CD, they'll give you 1%, 2%, or, 0.25%, whatever it is that you're getting, right? And then They lend that same, they lend like 9,000 of that money to somebody else for a personal loan, a mortgage, a student loan, whatever. So think about it, car loan. So when everybody put their money together, it becomes one bucket, right? One lump sum. So everybody is in there, and then they lend it out to whomever based on your credits, your income, your ability to pay back, and the need. That's usually what banks do when you are actually getting a loan, right? Whether it's a mortgage, equity line of credit, car loan, personal loan, whatever, student loan, whatever it is that you're doing. But guess what? What they charge you in interest is not what they give you in interest, because the bank is what? A business. So you can have a credit card where it's 5%, 18%, 32%, 21%. You could have a personal loan for 2%, 2.91%, 10%, 15%. It depends on what your credit is, you know, and your ability to repay. It has nothing to do with because you're a nice guy or a nice gal. So what the banks do is that they charge more interest than they pay because they're a for-profit business. But some people, all their life, that's all they've known. So I'm not going to be mad at you if you kind of save your money in a bank. I'm not mad at you for that because that's what you know, because you think it's safe there, which it is. It's insured up to 250,000 FDIC. But if you go on every bank on the door, and if you go to a credit union, it's the National Credit Union Association, but in the banks on the door it says FDIC. Do you know what FDIC stands for? FDIC stands for Federal Depositors Insurance Corporation. So it basically tells me that even the bank insures their money. Hmm. Even the bank insures their money. So why would the bank insure their money? Why would they do that? Right? Why would they do that? The bank does that because they want protection and guarantees. Good evening, Marie Jean Pierre. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Happy Cinco de Mayo. So the bank, go to your bank tomorrow. I challenge every one of you who's watching my show tonight. If you think I'm lying, or call some of your banks are open 24 hours, like the big ones, like the Bank of America's, the Wells Fargo's, the Capital One, JP Morgan Chase. They open late, right? Call them up if you have an account there. Get to say, I'm calling to check on my account. When they tell you, do your verification, then say, I have a question for you. Not you, but the bank itself, JP Morgan Chase, or, Capital One, or Wells Fargo, or Bank of America, or Citizens Bank, or whatever bank you bank in. Ask them, which account at the bank do you keep your money in? First of all, they're going to think you're cuckoo. And second of all, they cannot answer that question because banks don't keep their money in the bank. They lend it out. That's why they want your social security number, your address, your phone number, where you work. That's why sometimes when there's judgments against people, they garnish your pay, right? Anybody ever had a garnishment before? It happens. Don't raise your hand now. It happens. So why? Because they got all your stuff. They got your social. They know where you work. They got to get their money because they went to the courts and the court said it. So the banks don't keep their money in the bank. They actually lend it out. They do investments, real estate. They buy other properties. They invest. They do a bunch of things. And let me tell you something. This is something that none of you, well, actually, I did a show on that a couple of years ago, and I was pulling up banks' names, and I was showing you how much money that they have in the concept I'm about to talk about, an infinite banking concept. They have billions of dollars in there. Why? If you take all the banks in the world or in your city, and you take all insurance companies in the world or in your city, they will dwarf the banks. Because the banks, I'm not dwarf, I mean, the banks will be dwarfed compared to the insurance companies, because the insurance companies, that's where they have the money. That's why FDIC insures. Some of you think if I have $1 million in the bank, my money is insured. No, it's insured 250,000 per a registration. I'm a former banker. I was a banker from 85 to like 93, 4, 5, something like that. 3, 4, I can't remember. And basically, so if you have $1 million, your $1 million is not protected. This is what you would have to do. 250 on the registration, John Doe. 250 on the Mary Doe, which is your wife. 250 against John Doe and Mary Doe combined, right? And then 250 in a trust or one of your kids' names. So that's different registrations. Different registrations, guys. Different registrations. Not different registrations. Not your balance. And even if you have 10 accounts in the bank, a checking account, a savings account, a CD, a money market account, a high interest money market account, you're still only insured for $250,000 because it's per registration. All your registrations at the bank is under your name, John Doe or Mary Doe. So I don't care if you have $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, whatever you have, only 250 is protected. So sometimes people will say to me, is this FDIC insured? Let me explain something to you guys. You have monies in, this is what I tell clients all the time. You have monies whether in mutual funds, 401ks, stocks, bonds, variable, index, universalized, 529 college savings plans, crypto, Bitcoin, all of those different things. You have all those different kind of accounts that you have, right? Whether you have a brokerage account or whatever. None of that is insured. It's not FDIC insured. There's no guarantee. And past performance, it tells you on your statement, past performance is no indicator of future gains. In other words, just because you had a great year in the market, in the stock market or mutual funds, it doesn't mean that you are making a ton of money, it's protected and it's guaranteed for the next year. No. So if you think so, you are misguided and you're wrong. And if you're misguided, I'm not mad at you because you don't know. So for those of you who have accounts with a whole bunch of money in the banks and thinking it's safe, now I don't think your bank is gonna close, but I told you I was a young banker in the mid 80s, right? You know how many savings and loans around the country went under? They were going on as a matter of fact, one of the banks that I worked for, the first bank I worked for was Brookline Savings Bank in Brookline, Massachusetts. They had offices in Brookline, Chestnut Hill, Newton. I don't even know, maybe now they probably, I got to go check. They probably have branches in Boston or other places, because back in the day, banks usually had their accounts or their branches in the city that they are. Like now they have Eastern Bank. Eastern Bank used to be in East Boston and Revere in Massachusetts. Now I was in Boston. I saw one in Dorchester. Back in the day when I was a kid, there was none there. Rockland Savings Bank. Now you see them all over, right? Because, the walls have come down to a little bit. So I'm saying to you, so a lot of banks in the 80s, savings and loans went under. Then I went to Merchants Bank of Boston. I worked in Harvard Square, right on Church Street. I worked at the one in Concord, Massachusetts, Acton, Massachusetts, Dorchester, Massachusetts, Roslindale, Massachusetts, and then I even ended up in the one in downtown Boston, right on Tremont Street, right across from Park Street Station. And I got into training and HR and retirement planning and back in the day. But that bank went under, I should say, not over, went under. I remember when they went under, it was on a Friday afternoon around 2 o'clock, the regulators came in. The regulators came in from the federal government. And guess what? When they shut the door, they put signs on all the doors. And guess what? When a bank fails, other banks usually try to, bid for the assets because there's mortgages, loans, accounts. That's because the bank failed because, obviously they may have done a lot of risky lending, or I don't know what. There's a plethora of reasons why a bank could fail, right? So I'm not here to alarm you about banking, make you think your bank is going to fail. That's not what I'm saying. I'm going to get to my point, but I got to set the background, the stage for you. And then that bank, it merged with Bank of Boston, took it over. Then Bank of Boston and Bay Banks merged. There should be Bay Banks. Remember Bay Bank, if you're from Massachusetts? Remember the green one they had in Harvard Square everywhere, right? And then Bank of Boston couldn't survive because a lot of banks were merged. They merged with Fleet Bank. Remember Fleet Bank? It became Bank of New England. Remember that bank, Bank of New England, Fleet Bank? And now that same bank, it became Bank of America. So my point, and Bank of America has been around for a long time. They used to be based in San Francisco. Now they're based in Charlotte. And Wells Fargo is actually based in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. My point, and Wells Fargo used to be based in St. Louis, Missouri. My point I'm trying to make to you guys is simply this, folks. I am not telling you that banks are bad. That's not what I'm saying. Because you need a bank for your money to go into. I'm saying don't be putting your bulk and saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in a bank. Now, this literally happened yesterday. I have a client who had a CD. You all don't know who it is, and I wouldn't tell you anyways. And the CD came due and over the weekend. But the client went in prior to inform them of that. But the thing about it was they couldn't, it wasn't due yet. It wasn't due the next day. And the next day was a weekend day, was a Sunday. So when the client went to get the money out to have it into their checking account, because there's something I'm doing for that client, they're giving them the runaround. So the client called me and I'm on the phone and I'm telling the client what to do, right? My point is simply this, that while this is going on, another client texts me. Both of these clients are in the Northeast and says, hey, how you doing? I need to talk to you. Da, 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 da. I said, I'm with a client. I'll call you. So I reach back out to the client, and this client, has been using the infinite banking concept, the IBC I've been talking about. This client's been my client for 10 years this year. Anyways, this client says, I'm doing some stuff, building this, doing that, whatever. And the client needed money. So I said, well, I'll call you when I'm done, Anyways, eventually we got together today, called the client, a phone call. The money should be in their accounts by tomorrow or the day after. No, you didn't know ID. You didn't need my other client whose account that they had ID from, they were giving them a hard time to get their own money. So what I'm saying to you is, first of all, they're giving you chicken feed at the bank, 1%, 2%, whatever. And I'm not saying to you, you don't have liquidity control and guarantees. Well, you do have guarantees, but liquidity and control. If you don't have liquidity and control, then you can't move it. Let me explain something. When it comes to your money, you got to think about accumulation. As you put it in, you're accumulating. You got to think about maximization, maximizing what you have, and then distribution. As you get older and as time moves, you want to get money to do different things. So people have a tendency, and listen, folks, I want to make this very clear. I'm not opposed to people investing in the market. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that for my clients before. I'm the safe money guy. My clients are guaranteed to never, ever lose a penny. They can never lose a penny. When they've made gains, the market's up, they participate in the gains of the market is down, they stay there. They don't lose a penny. It's kind of like if I lend you $20, when I come for my $20, I don't want $19.99 or $15.50. I want $20 or more. You see, you want to give me a $5 interest or $5 because I lend it to you. Cool, I'll do that. But don't allow yourself, if you have large sums of money, do not save it in a bank. I mean, people say, well, what about emergencies? Well, this is what I tell people. Most people have a credit card. Some people are lousy with credit cards. Some people are very good with credit cards. So if you're lousy with credit cards, maybe you should not have one. But if you're disciplined with credit cards, maybe you should have a credit card. And then what you can do, this is what you can do. You can actually, if you use your credit card to purchase something, or you use your credit card to get something, all you got to do is at the end of the month, when you get your bill paid off in full. So I didn't say you should not put money in the bank. I never said that. So I don't want anyone texting me, calling me, telling me, hey, you said that. No. What I'm saying to you guys is simply this. Don't put large sums of money in the bank. You have different options of things you can do. And then you're like what, Terrence? Like what, Havis? Like what, H? Like what, Mr. Bardui? Like what, little boy? Like what, little boy? Get on my calendar. Like these other people did. They got on my calendar and we sit down and we talk and I show you. All I'm doing right here is educating you and tell you need an IBC, an infinite banking concept. I didn't say don't have no money in the bank. I never said that. I'm talking about the bulk of your money. And some of you love banks, and that some of you are not going to do investments. That's okay. Some people do real estate investing. Some people doing this and that. They're flipping homes or whatever. And sometimes you need, listen, this is a question that I ask my clients all the time. I ask my clients this question all the time. What emergency that you've had at your home, right? An emergency where it's over $10,000. Now, if you want to build a deck or you want to put a new roof, it's not an emergency. You know, it may cost that. I don't know. But what I'm saying to you is your water heater might go, your AC might go, you know, but the thing about it is you're having no emergencies for $200,000 in your home. Well, first of all, you should have mortgage protection because if you die, God forbid, your house can be paid off. Your husband, your wife, your children, whomever can pay it off either monthly or all at one time. So while they're mourning, they haven't got to worry about how the bills are going to be paid. You understand me? But what I want to know, what emergency do you have? So therefore, most people have a credit card. So if you have an emergency, you use your credit card. And guess what? If you have an IBC like my client today, they can get money out, do whatever they need to do with their credit card, and before the bill comes or when the bill comes, pay it off in full. Most people don't do that because some of us, we don't do that and we end up paying interest. You know, sometimes they cancel our cards, affect our, you know, we can't pay, you know, your credit is shot. And if your credit is shot, just get a little disciplined and start deciding I'm going to do this. You know I have this one client who, you know, and you all don't know who that client is. I had this one client a few years ago, their credit was shot. I gave them some ideas. They followed those concepts. And right now they have excellent credit, pushing 800. You know, I'm so proud of them for what they've done. So Rome wasn't built in a day. So what I'm saying to you guys is make sure you know all your rights and options. You want liquidity, control, and guarantees. Liquidity, control, and guarantees. And also, what I do for some of my clients, I show them non-traditional ways to save monies. Do you know you can do an IBC concept with single premiums? I'll give you an example. There's a client I have in South Carolina who actually at Solar Home, right? And they had like over 100 grand in the bank, just sitting there. And I said to them, you know what? Let's put that in what's called a single premium whole life insurance policy. They're like, what do you mean? I said, let me show you. You put it in, and then you have double that or more as a death benefit. If God forbid something happens to you, your family will get that tax-free. But 90 to 95% of that money that you put in, you have access to it in 7 days. And then you can do it, whether to do projects around the house, or you need to, you know, if you were going to buy a car, you could buy the car cash and get it at a lower price and then pay yourself back. Because anytime you use an IBC concept, you're not using your money, you're using OPM. Remember that song? You done with OPP? No, OPM. You're done with OPM, other people's money. And there's people who usually come at me. Someone made a post on social media the other day, and it was a beautiful story. And I said to the person, well, you interrupted compounding. And they're like, well, they want to give me all these philosophical answers. I'm like, dude, you interrupted compounding. I don't care what you say, you interrupted it. What if there was a way not to ever interrupt compounding? And that's what some of my clients are doing, guys. Some of them are taking my advice. Some of them, sometimes you have to build it. And as they get more comfortable, they do more. I'm not telling you to do everything at one time, because the things I'm telling you, ain't nobody, the government's not telling you, because they're telling you to put your money in a 401k. You know why? So they can tax out, out of you down the road. You're not saving taxes, you're deferring taxes. The banks are not telling you that, but they got billions of dollars. If you bank with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citizens Bank, JP Morgan Chase, Capital One, those banks have billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in this concept that I'm talking about. But they ain't telling you that, though. Why? Because why would they tell you? They want you to be a sucker. I got these suckers. Put your money in my bank. I'll give you 0.10% or 0.25%, and then I'll charge you an arm and a leg interest while I'm making money on you. How do you think banks and a lot of these big banks, how you think they subsidize executive compensations for retirement? Because that is an asset they don't have to disclose. I have a client. Oh my gosh, this client in Texas. I love all my clients, and all my clients are great, but this one client, when they found this out, and they actually, for their job, they audit big banks and big companies, right? They were like, oh my gosh, Havis, I never knew that. How come I never knew that? When that client learned about that concept, boom, they started doing their get out of debt with me. No, they want to do investment properties in other countries because they learn. And what bothers me, I don't have a problem if you don't know and you're not sure and you're like, but this person had never heard about it, and they're way more educated than me. I just have more knowledge. You see, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. I've been doing this financial services thing since 1985. So I'm going 41 years now. I'm not here to blame anybody for what you've done. That's not my objective. Some of you know, some of you don't know, some of you think you know, some of you don't want to know, some of you don't like taking advice, some of you, your pride and your ego will not allow you to take advice, and some of you are willing to learn. As you learn, you make changes. That's all I'm saying. So for those of you who have 401ks and 403bs and 457 and TSPs, man, let me help you with a different program. Let's put it somewhere where you'll get a guarantee. You'll have access to some of your money every year. And because I say this to my clients, I don't care if you're 45, 55, 65, 25, 75, 85. Even if you're 85 and you want to live to be, I don't know, 120, I don't know how. They say the average now, men are living to be like 87 and women 89, 90, because men don't take care of themselves like women do. The thing about it is simply this, guys. Only your current self can take care of your future self. And for those of you who are willing to take advice and learn and change the trajectory of your thinking, you can do better for yourself. And if you don't do anything, I'm not mad at you. Some people think like if they don't do business with me or they become my client, I'm mad. I'm not mad. There's a lot of people that I'm really cool with on social media or in person. Whether you're a family, friend, or foe, it really doesn't matter. I just want to educate you and help you. and show you some things that you don't know. And then ask me all kinds of questions. Why? Why should you do this? Because one of the questions I ask my clients, ask your bank how much money they do have in cash value life insurance. If in an infinite banking concept, ask them. They won't tell you, it's on their sheets. You go to fdic.com or .gov and you can find the banks and see. I had a list. I don't know what I did with that list. I had a list with all those banks, with how much billions of dollars they had in there. And you know why they do that? Because even there is BOLI, it's called bank owned life insurance, and there's COLI, corporate owned life insurance. Companies like Target and like Walmart and companies like that, Costco, and what they do is they have COLI, corporate owned life insurance. They take out life insurance on employees, whole life insurance, and they're the owner. So if you die, they get the benefit, but while it's also building cash value, and they can use it as an asset so they can do more, expand their business and do different things. As a small business owner, you can do that as well. As an individual, you can do it. I just told you today, one of my clients just did that. They wanted to do some stuff back home, and they went into the national bank of them. And I'm so proud of my client. I told him that today. And guess what? They told me, you know what? I got some other stuff somewhere, and when it's ready, we're going to do more. And that's how it works, because they've been doing it for 10 years now. They've seen. So what I'm saying to all of you all is that if you don't trust what I'm saying or you don't believe what I'm saying, you don't have to do anything. But I'm not going to come up here and lie to you. I'm a licensed financial professional. I have a reputation. I have my ethics. So I come out here and I try to educate you. I'm not telling you to don't do what you've known. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you, take a look at something else that you don't know of. And start somewhere. All you can do is 100, start there. I have clients putting thousands of dollars into concepts like this. And some of these cases that we do, the average premium at my agency, American Classic Agency, is $2,500 a month. Some of your mortgages are not that much. My point I'm trying to make, it doesn't matter where you are. I don't care. People always think someone told me that someone told them I only deal with people with money. That's not true. I try to help everybody. I got clients who are paupers. I have a client I helped last week we did something for them, very minimal, and now they want to change it. So I'm going to help them with that. And I have clients who are millionaires. It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum that you're on. It's just that you have to just making changes. What's the use of doing the same thing you've been doing over and over, taking no advice? And then let me tell you something, right? I don't care what you do with your money. I don't. It's your money. You work hard for it. But what I do care is that how you protect it. How you protect it. I'm not going to be jumping backwards, spinning backwards, trying to convince people about what they should do or not do. No, folks, it's your call. It's your call, man. It's your call. My best friend is texting me. I told him, I give him a shout out. He said he's at a baseball game. It's your call. And all I can say to you guys is that take a listen. Get on my calendar. See what I'm talking about. See how it could benefit you. Let me show you. Start somewhere. Do something. Add to what you're currently doing. That's all I'm saying. Add to what you're currently. I don't think you guys are not doing anything. A lot of you guys do it way better than me. That's not the point. The point is, let someone who can show you how to protect what you have and how to use OPM. You done with OPM? Yeah, you know me. You done with other people's money. Use other people's money. Like someone said, like my client today who did their transaction. They didn't use their money. They're still earning uninterrupted compounding. they will get. They did not interrupt compounding from their balance, whatever their balance was. And they're gonna pay it back so they can do it again and again and again and again. And it's their money. They work for it. I'm very proud. I told a client today, and I've told him that before. The client was saying, well, I don't have to. I said, listen, you've been a saver all your life. And I'm so proud of you. Some of us are not. I'm not disciplined like this person. They're very disciplined. But some of us are not as disciplined. And because we're not as disciplined, when your money go into your bank account, we need to put it somewhere else. Because if you get it, you're going to be using it to do all kind of stuff. Trust me, I know. I do it just like you guys. So my goal is to protect you, give you control, liquidity over your money, let you accumulate what you have, build it slowly and organically. You see, the stock market can go high, but it can also go real low too, right? I'm not telling you don't do that. I don't do that anymore. I want to show you guarantees. I want you to participate in the gains of the market. Like today, the market's up. If the anniversary had come through for whatever you had, you would participate in the gains of the market. So everybody wants quick money. If there was a way for it to be quick, nothing worth having you get quickly. The only thing you end up getting quickly is like, hitting the mega millions. And when you all hit it, make sure I get my cut and make sure I help you with protecting it. So why are you still saving your money in a traditional bank? Is because you don't know any better, and it's okay. I'm not talking about if you have 1,000, 5,000 in there, right? That might be a lot. I agree. I'm talking about those of you who have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I have a client in Florida who I will never forget it. They have an account at Bank of America. 6 years ago, I asked them. So it was over 100 grand in a high yield money market account or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was, whatever account it was in. Over 100 grand. And their interest that year was about $92 on $100,000. I sat down with that client. We went through some stuff. Everything I've told them to do, they've done. I got 3 clients like that. Now, some of my clients have done stuff, and I am grateful, but I have these 3 clients who've done, not 3, there's more than 3, but I can think of 4 right now. I can't think of everyone, but I can think of 4 right now because I got a ton. That has done everything that I've said to do. So I don't worry about those clients because God forbid something happens to them. They have surpluses, protection. If they get sick, they got living benefits. They have debt elimination to eliminate their debt. One of them has already paid off their house. Another one's going to pay off the house in 3 years. Another one next year. And they have a legacy because they all have children and grandchildren. So therefore, God forbid something happens to them. Now, it's their intention to spend their stuff in their lifetime, right? But God forbid something happens to them. Their children and their grandchildren will be well off. But guess what? They've put their children in a good space. They have good jobs. They're doing well as well. So therefore, but something happens to them, the kids they hang out to worry. Have you ever gotten a GoFundMe request? We all have. I can't tell you what to do about those things, but I believe there is no way in hell that you know Mr. Havis Terrence Bardui. You've known him for decades or years. You know what he does. and then you don't do anything, and God forbid something happens, and you're in my DM asking, what I'm saying to you guys, I'm not here to pick on anyone. I'm not here to discourage anyone. My show, Chooses with Terrence, is never about anybody. It's about concepts and ideas. What I'm saying to you is make changes. Even tonight, when you celebrate, I know my best friend is his birthday tonight. Cinco de Mayo. I know he always Cinco de Mayo he'll be out. Right now he's at the ball game. He's gonna be chilling. He's an educator. He calls me for advice all the time. How to do this and that. One time I went off on him. He's gonna watch this. I don't care. He's my bestie. I said, "What you did with that thing right that day, you could have done that with me." And he smiled. He said, "I know though." But you know what? I will never not give advice to a friend who calls me and asks me, or a family member, or anybody. Now, I prefer you do it with me. But I'm not gonna not. If you ask me, hey, you know what, Terrence or Havis, I got X, Y, and Z. What do you think? I'm going to give you my opinion. It's still your choice. It's not my money. It's not my life. It's yours. But I do want to show you how you can protect what you have. So for those of you who are watching tonight, and you got hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, stop saving your money in a bank. Let me show you a different way. The National Bank of you. And if you can't qualify to do that, there is different options I can show you. We can do it with somebody where you still get to control it. And there's another option I can show you where you can put it somewhere else where you can participate. I'll give you a bonus. There's different things you can do. However, the choice is yours. It's not mine. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. If you're from the 767 Whitey Kubuli, tall is her body, the Commonwealth of Dominica, you call me Little Boy. If you're from St. Luke's Parish, Point Michelle, aka La Puente, you call me Luku Boy. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. I thank you for tuning in tonight. If what I said resonated with you tonight, share it with somebody. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. I won't be mad at you. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. But I just want you to know that my advice and my information is always free. I try to share with the people that I know. And even if it doesn't resonate with you, go back and watch it. If it doesn't resonate with you, call me. Get on my calendar and ask me some questions. Good evening, Alvin. Welcome to the show, man. Folks, it's what I do every Tuesday. I had a meeting at church tonight. I told the pastor, no, I can't. Tuesdays with Terrence. I miss birthdays, anniversaries, Sandy's birthday. I miss all that stuff to do Tuesdays with Terrence. You think I'm going to have a church meeting? Nah. That's what I do for work, man. Educating the masses. Good night, everybody. I'm out. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you. I love you. Good night, good night, good night, everybody. Let's hit play. Hasta la vista. Mwah. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy birthday, Mr. Adrian D. Chomps, my bestie.
Dominica made me. That's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be. Oh! Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro.
Brandy, how you doing, Brandy Howard? Happy Cinco de Mayo. Woo! Happy birthday to your daughter.
On those snow.
I know, happy birthday. Congratulations on her degree.
Stand tall,
Navigating life, every rise, every fall.
from the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name.
Woo!
Boston raised me with its hustle and grind.
City light shining, dreams intertwined. Oh man, in the heart of this town, I found my way. Something happened to my music. A license finance. There we go. I continue, right?
Heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace.
Good night, everybody.
Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being one.
Good night, everybody. God bless you. Be well. Here's the outro.
So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From the Dominica's beauty in Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. Stop saving in banks. Make sure you understand what an IBC is, an infinite banking concept. Let's protect what you have. Be like my client today. Get money when you want it. You don't have to ask permission. You don't need all this rigmarole. They want you to bend over backwards, do backflips for your own money. Now, make sure you get an infinite banking concept. Start small and build as you go. Thank you. God bless you. Hasta la vista. Babies, good night, everybody. I can't even see out of my right eye. I think I'm getting pink eye or something. I don't know, something. Adios, amigos. Adios, my friend.